And it looks like we are live. Lucky me, that means you don't need a seance to see the show. Yay. Kidding. Anyway, yeah, I know. Make the same dumb joke every single time. It's a dad joke, but I'm a mom. Maybe it's a mom joke. I don't know. I'm a more of a mom type, but who knows? Anyway, um, so struggling with technology on the last day of our Mercury retrograde. It finally stationed direct. We've only got another week to go through the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So, hey, Linda, how are you doing? I'm okay. I felt crummy today, but now I rested and I feel better. Yeah, today was just really, I don't know what was going on, but I couldn't hardly keep myself awake. I had to take several naps in between doing stuff, and I had kind of a big day today too because we had an event here, and um, where we had a chili cook off, and of course I couldn't eat anything because I can't eat all the nightshade, but um, it was still I still went there and took a side dish, but and then we had coffee today, and I like to go to things here so that I can meet people. It kind of helps to know who your neighbors are. Um, so, I was trying to get things done today, and I was just having a heck of a day trying to do that. But um, yesterday you slept a lot. Yeah, I slept yesterday and today. I just been knocking me out. It's I'm hearing that from a lot of people that the energies have just been intense lately. We're having solar activity, and when we have a lot of solar activity, people who are sensitive are going to react to that. So, and I'm one of them. And if you're one of them, you know what I'm talking about. You know what this is doing to you. Ah, my hair is kind of wind blown a little bit. Anyway, um, so what? Okay. Um, so we've got we got a show going. Yay, after technical difficulties again. As you know, I've been having some technical difficulties off and on. Okay. This is D Ocean. I'm D Ocean with the Deep Woo. And of course, we have the deepest of woo here. We discuss deep things. If you like to discuss that kind of thing, Pam Smith is here. Hey, Pam. Okay, so if you like to discuss that kind of thing, this is a great place for you. If you're an experiencer, this is a great place for you because we have mostly experiencers here. And I would say, please be nice to the experiencers because it isn't that easy to be one, okay? First of all, the experience can be kind of disconcerting, and then trying to tell people about it can be even more disconcerting. So please be nice to the experiencers, okay? And be nice to each other. If you have a disagreement, that's fine. Just be nice about it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to agree. Remember, you don't have to agree with everybody, but you have to get along with everybody. Okay, you still have to get along somehow. So, and I really insist on that. I have mods standing ready to boot your butts. If you're bad, we're gonna have to boot you for a while. So don't be nasty. Anyway, That should go without saying on every show, but there's always seems like every now and then you get somebody who just doesn't understand that concept. So we're just make it clear. Yeah, you're going to deal with mostly experiences here. Most of us have had something go on in our lives, something supernatural, paranormal, some kind of phenomena. And so if you're interested in that, you're in the right place. If you've had that, you're at the right place. If you haven't had it, but you're just curious, you're at the right place. One of the things we do is we do basically, we are not one of those shows that question, is there such a thing as paranormal and phenomena? No, we don't question that. We know that there is. Just as really as we know that we turned on the light over there and it's shining on my face. I have my grow light on because it kind of helps along with my other lights because the lighting in this room is absolutely horrible. But just as we know anything, which is just electrical signals being pumped into our brain, right? It's as real as anything else. Okay. I don't want to hear any BS to the contrary. I'm sorry, but if you don't think this stuff is real, you either are not very experienced or you've been just totally brainwashed. Okay. You need to expand your mind a little and get rid of the brainwashing. And because I'm sorry, you're going to hear more and more of this all over the world. People are having very strange experiences that science is not giving us an adequate explanation for because they can't, because they don't take. Most of the branches of science are not taking consciousness into the equation. If you don't take consciousness into the equation, you're going to miss out on a lot. You're going to miss a lot. Okay. So you need to do that. Once they start doing that, maybe they'll start giving us some real answers for some of this. And some of them are working on it. I add to their credit, not everybody is a stick in the mud, but you still run into these sort of gassy, hidebound people who, the speed of light and it's the law and you can only go, you can't go with time travel. It's just, don't, people have experienced time slips. People have experienced ghosts. People have experienced all kinds of cryptids, which is non-human creatures and non-typical creatures, sometimes even what we consider mythical creatures. And I think we're going to see more as the ice caps melt of these so-called mythical creatures. We're already seeing more of them, aren't we? We're going to see more. And why? Because the passages are going to be unblocked that have been blocked by ice all this time. This planet goes through seasons, and that's obvious. We have different seasons. Might as well just get over and accept it. We're going through a warming season. It doesn't matter. Might hasten it a little bit, carbon emissions. Nothing's going to stop the warm up because that's the whole solar system is warming up. Hate to tell you. Cow farts are not going to have a thing to do with it. It's not going to stop it. To stop fossil fuels is not going to stop it. So it's going to keep happening. The poles are going to melt. Apparently, it does this on a fairly regular basis. So get over it, everybody. Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, is Dwayne Kitty? Oh yeah, Kitty's doing a lot. Diane, yeah, Kitty is doing a lot better. If you look on the channel on one of the shorts, I made a little short about the artwork he made. Yes, Cowboy swallowed his little play string while I wasn't looking, which was a good heavy knotted string, and I was worried about him because that can really hurt kitty cats. Not get knotted up in their bowels and stuff, and can be bad. So, I was saying, hey, he needs to get rid of that hole. He needs to get it out of him. Hopefully, he'll just spit it up, which he. I woke up and thought I was looking at, he found a little catnip mouse. Isn't that cute? When I first, it's in the same place he always puts all his little presents. And I'm seeing my first thought, oh, look, it's a little catnip mouse. No. He hocked that thing up, kind of buried in some cat food with a little tail coming off of it in the shape of a catnip mouse. And I'm like, well, cowboy, that's very creative. That's a very creative piece of artwork. But, don't expect me to, you know, put it on the fridge as art with a magnet. I'm not going to do that, okay? But thanks, Has a creative stomach, this cat, I guess, apparently. But I was a little joke on mommy. Look what I made. I made something in the shape of a catnip mouse, except it's that string I ate. Gee, what some people go through just for art. What some kitties go through for art. But anyway, he's a genius. He's a genius. It should be in a museum somewhere. um oh, it'll be in the 20s tonight. Whoa. Put your put your sweater on. I got my fuzzy sweater on. One of mine. Um, I got one of my nice sweaters on. It's chilly here too at night, so. Yeah, that's our cowboy. He's something else. Flaring your fibromyalgia. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Me too. Yep. Fibromyalgia. It's so much. It's not fun. Yeah. Oh, accidentally hit that. So our little cowboy is fine, fortunately, and he's going to be up to some kind of shenanigans probably for a long, long time to come. Is he back there? Let me see. Is he back there sleeping, or sometimes he kind of sneaks in back there and is sleeping? Okay, so, oh, you got neighbors? I thought you sprayed for those, Pam. I've sprayed for visitors. I gridded my place. I don't have little grays running around my place anymore. Just gridded my place, and I've just said the intention that I'm done being harassed. It's not that much fun. It isn't. I mean, you're being pretty much kidnapped on a regular basis since I was a kid, maybe before. I mean, there's some indication that there was some meddling with my mother. And just because somebody says it's for a good cause, is it really? Well, you didn't explain it to me very well at all. So when it was happening, you didn't explain it. Or if you did explain it, you didn't let me remember it. Somehow I didn't remember it. And if I don't remember it, I'm going to have to say, if I can't remember, that's, that's screwed up. And did it disrupt my life? Oh, hell, yeah. It screwed my life up a lot. I couldn't have a normal life. I still don't feel I can have a normal one. This is the normalest my life has been, which isn't very normal. I tried to have a normal life at one point, it just doesn't work. So, so anyway, what we're going to be talking about today, or I'm going to be talking about, is are we being babbled? And the thing about that question is, what do I mean, right? You remember the Tower of Babel. You remember that story. Humans were building a tower to reach the sky, right? And then a god, I don't think the god of all, but a god, probably Enlil, decided he didn't like that because Enlil didn't like people, didn't like humans. If that is, and remember, the Bible is plagiarized from the Sumerian texts, a lot of it. There are parts of it that are taken from Sumerian stories. Probably Enlil, because he was a war god and he liked killing things and disrupting things. He really enjoyed it, and particularly us. And apparently, I wasn't there, or maybe I was, and I just don't remember. That's a whole nother ball of wax, isn't it? We don't remember. We can't remember. Some of us remember eventually. We have been so hoodwinked on this planet. We've just been so abused, really. But we're beginning to come out of some of that. However, I think we're still being babbled. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that in this broadcast. And I don't, will it be forever? I don't know. I don't think it will be forever. If some of you haven't heard of the Great Vowel Shift, it was a reset event. It was a reset event mostly perpetrated in the, it looks like it was mostly in the 16th century, 16th, 17th century, that this particular kind of a flip happened. And it was where the language changed. And if you pay attention, you realize that our language shifts now on a regular basis. It's very, very malleable, and they tell us because all living languages are like that. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that this is an organic change. I think perhaps some of this is instigated. I think perhaps some of it is flipped on purpose to keep us from being able to communicate effectively. Because just like in the Tower of Babel days, if you can't communicate effectively, you're screwed. You know, your plans are screwed. Trying to work together is really very difficult if it's hard for you to communicate. Now, this may have been when we stopped using telepathy or mind speak. This may have been our communications, as in, what if, you know, I've often thought, what if we were really building some kind of a space tower to get into space and they just scrambled the computer language? That would be bad enough. You know, whatever it was that we were using, if they scrambled that language. But realize that there's lots of ways you could apply that story, you know, and so I'm going to give you a few more ways that you might want to look at that story. We are being babbled. I feel that we have been babbled. We keep getting regularly babbled every generation. We get rebabbled, as in the Tower of Babel. Okay, and we'll talk about all that. Plus, I had another dream, which seems to be a rather important dream because Mr. T was in it, and I'm talking about Donnie. He was in it. I don't have dreams about him, but I did. I did this time. So I kind of think this might be an important one that I need to bring up and record. And so it will be recorded here on this program. And we will also talk about the vowel shift, which is a change in the vibration of our language and a change in the spoken word. And as you know, they also changed the written letters. And this is spelling. 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 Spelling is a spell. Words are a spell. Words are vibrations. So you change the words, you change the spelling, and then you also change the time. Screw with the months. Some of you are aware, for instance, that, you know, October meaning oct meaning 8, you know, used to be the 8th month. And I guess January was the 11th month. They switched it to the 1st. They also took 11 days out of the calendar. This is where we get into the realm of 11. When I tell you some of the things I found out about that. Now, there's a channel called What the Flock. He got his first channel taken down. So that tells you he was onto something. If you get your channel taken down, you were definitely onto something. He was very popular, and he got his channel taken down. So you know, there was something he was on to that wasn't popular. And well, it was popular with people, but not with, you know, policies. So yes, words can be weapons. Yep. You've become lax with it. uh, oh, oh my goodness. Hmm. Yeah. Well, Okay, I'm gonna run the intro. Let me see if I can get back to the comments section. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not being able to find the right word for things. I think they call that aphasia. I get that sometimes. It's like, in fact, sometimes when my helper is here, I have to point at things. And she's like, "What? Say the word," and I'm there. I'm going to have to point at it because I can't think of. Well, and then we've really got a problem. She's Polish. Her English is not her first language. Sometimes I literally have to point at things because I'll say flipper and she looks at me like, "What's a flipper?" Pancake flipper. Spatula. Spatula. Turn things over with it. Oh, because to me a spatula is something else. But anyway, so oh, I am Pam. The Pams are both here. Got both Pams. We're double-barreled Pams tonight. So yeah, so I have another dream, and you can be thinking about it while I go into how I think we're being babbled and what I found out. Like I said, if you haven't looked into What the Flock, I put one of his videos on our MeWe, and you can click on that and go to his channel, and you'll see why I've been so interested in it lately. Once you find out why I've been, what my dream was about, because he really goes into, hey, hi, Anonymous Rex, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then we'll have you on again, Pam Smith. Don't worry. You remembered more? Good. Good, good. We'll have you on again and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. That was fun. I was listening to the story. I thought it was a darn good story. Everybody thought it was a darn good story. So, we all thought you did really well. You're the only one that didn't like what. You know what? We're so hard on ourselves. The first few times I tried to stream, try to make videos, I was so hard on myself. And, my guidance kept saying, it doesn't matter. You just have to keep doing it. Eventually, you'll figure it out. That's the way it is with everything. You may not be perfect the first time. Keep trying. Don't give up. That's a message for everybody, isn't it? So, oh boy. Pam, you've got a whole nother batch of memories we've got to get you talking about. I have a feeling there'll be a lot more coming up from Pam. And that's okay. If you know somebody that wants to be a guest somewhere and needs a forum to talk, we're here. I'm looking for guests, and we're definitely got an open spot. And otherwise, it's just me discussing stuff that I've found interesting. And we're going to be discussing Realm of 11. You're going to be mind boggled at some of this, maybe. Um, like I said, What the Flock has definitely uh, come up with some rather mind boggling stuff. I think he's brilliant. I wish I could have him on some point. Maybe I can lure him onto this channel at some point. Um, how much weight should our dreams hold in our working time? Well, it depends. Are you known for having, I mean, the Native Americans put a lot of emphasis on dreams. Okay, I'm going to get into my dream, and you'll see why I think it may have something to do with more than just myself. I mean, some dreams are just personal things that are conglomeration of things that happen to you, but I think this one may be a little more. And when I have one like that, I record it here so that if it means anything to you, you can bring it up, or maybe help somebody understand what's going on. But in this dream, I was living in an apartment. My parents were living a few doors down. Um, and in this dream, and I was just running around in this dream. I was going here and there and everywhere. I was, all over the place in this dream, very busy, obviously. And so my parents, well, I'm not sure who mom was, but my dad was Donald, the Don, you know. And there's so many things about just his name that the Golden Dawn, kind of, I'm like, wait a minute. And the Trump, when the Trump sounds, stuff like that. So many weird things with this guy. But he, in the dream, was my dad, which makes me think this wasn't about me exactly. It was on a bigger scale, because um, really, I've said it before, a president is like our heads of our leaders of our country are like a father figure or a mother figure, a parental figure. And in the way the world is right now, they're codependent parents. Most of them are codependent parents who, uh, act exactly like a codependent family. And if you know anything about that, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you can look it up, and you will say, "Damn, yeah, that's our governments right now as they stand." Um, so Donald, Mr. T, was my dad in this dream, and he was looking at me standing in the hall. And I was heading for my place, back to my place. I'd just been in their place visiting them, heading back to my place. And I looked over, and there was, it looked like rain or water or something leaking. And he says, "Hey, do you have anything to do with this?" and he's pointing at the leak, the water leaking down from the doorway, over the doorway. And it's like it was rain or it was water leaking or something. And I'm like, no, I've been studying Janus, the first fire tender and defender, like that. I with a book under my arm, and I head to my place, and guess what? There's water leaking down too, in front of my doorway, or rain or something. And I'm like, oh, geez, they need to take care of that. And I go in and I close the door, and it was just a very short dream. That part of it, the part where I was just doing a lot of running around, is something else. But just that much of a dream has quite a lot of symbolism. And I'll tell you why, because Janus is not necessarily known as the first fire tender and defender. Janus is the god of doorways, portals, comings and goings, but or so it has been said, and so we are frequently told when we look up Janus, the god Janus. However, this led me to look farther into the meaning of this god. And on the What the Flock channel, he's looked very deeply into this god, Janus. I guess he's associated with various other deities, including Diana, which I'm named after. He is the god of comings and goings, portals, doorways. Now, one of the things that I am very involved with is doorways. I open portals and close them all the time. My first celebrity spirit guide was Janis Joplin. It's another weird one. It's strange. There was other things that I came up with that. Oh yes, and his animal is the rooster or cock, and that's the year that I was born in, the Chinese year of the rooster or cock. No jokes. Okay, go ahead and joke. Anyway, yeah, I don't. Am I allowed to say I'm a cock? No, but I can say I'm a rooster. I don't look like that. Let's not even get into that weird statue that they put up in honor of MLK. Yikes! I don't know if you've heard about that yet, but it looks like a giant peen. And it looks like hands on the giant peen. And MLK's family is very upset about it, and I don't blame them. It is absolutely bizarro world, as a commemoration. It doesn't even have his likeness. It has a huge brown, looks like a huge brown bean with different hands on it. Very strange. Very, very, very strange. You don't think things are screwy, and I guess they spent millions of dollars on this. I forget where it is, but it's like, is it Illinois or something? I forget. They spent millions of dollars on this thing. There are people who don't even want their kids to see who cover their kids' eyes as they go by. They don't even want their kids to look at it. It's so freaking weird. Yeah, we really are in bizarre world. You know it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are they flipping thinking? What are they thinking? Oh, gee, take care of that, Linda. I know I'm probably not going to have things like that because I went off the sugar. If you go off the sugar, your pancreas is going to heal up. But I had some today, and boy, did I feel crummy. I can now really tell if I have some sugar. It's like, oh, you idiots. Um, so back off the sugar again. Oh, Jersey tea. I saw a picture of it. Well, maybe it was the angle they took it at, but it really didn't look good. It was very weird. Yeah, some other people have seen it. Looks so dang stupid. Looks like hands on thighs. I'm not sure that's any better. How does that have anything to do with MLK? I'm not sure that's that much better. Just what the heck are they thinking? I'm an artist. I'm not that crazy. Not crazy in that way, anyway. I'm an artist, but I wouldn't. No, it's just too weird. Anyway, hi Jersey T. Good to see you. Welcome to the gang. But it's just another one of those things that we sit and wonder about what was going on in their minds that made them think that was a good thing. But I guess there are people who don't want their kids to see it, and the family is upset about it, and I think I can understand that. I guess it looks like different because really, when I saw it, it was a goofy looking thing, and I'm there like, I it how in what way does this have to do with MLK? I don't get it. Um, so that's part of what we're dealing with here. My dream, like I said, was very short. That part was very short, but a lot of imagery here. We've got the father figure showing up as Mr. T. We've got the doorway, which is Janus. We've got Janus being mentioned in the dream. We've got basically, what is this water or leaking having to do with doorways? The doorway of supposedly my parents' apartment and my doorway, both. I thought when I saw mine leaking like that, I thought, oh, is that why he thinks there may be a connection? But the more I look into Janus, J didn't always exist as a letter. That was added later, and it wasn't really accepted for a long time as a letter. For quite a long time, it was an I. It was, that the words that now have a J were pronounced like I. So it would have been, instead of Janus, it would have been Janus. And this all was a change. Most of the changes that had taken place were perpetrated by the Vatican. And that was one of the main things that perpetrated this stuff. Our hidden history doesn't tell you, our history as it is doesn't really go into the proper reasons why this happened, but I believe probably it was to confuse people. And now, because the I or the J looks like a 1, we've got 1,000 extra years added on a lot of our dating of things or at least it looks like that. And then there's also several months when the months were moved from where they originally were. So the dating system has moved too. What else did they do to us? Well, they moved the vowels. So the vowels are kind of interesting. Vowel, vowel. Now, L is an ancient word meaning God. So the vowels in our spelling and in our speaking would be vows to God, vows to a God, which God? Quite possibly Janus. And this, without most people's consent or knowledge or, you know, um, so, okay, I'll talk to you later, or I'll see you later. You know what? Everybody is freaking sleepy today. I just talked about how I'm sleepy. I wasn't even sure I would be able to be on tonight. If I hadn't taken a nap, I wouldn't be able to be on. Fortunately, we're going to be out of this Mercury station direct today, by the way. I think I said that. So basically, we've got some kind of leaking or water going on here in the stream and portals. Now, it's interesting because 11 is a number associated with this Janus and portals. And I deal with portals all the time. It's kind of a specialty of mine, crossing people over and crossing other things over and closing portals. But it's true that every time I open a portal, there's an angel standing on either side. And he says also 101. 101 is an open portal. And also we use that to mean like learning the basic facts about something. It's a beginning, 101. You know, if you're taking 101, you're taking your first set of classes, you know, your first set of lessons on something. Well, 101 is also a symbol for an open portal. And it does look like that because when the portal opens, it's round, and then there's an angel standing on either side of it. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, holy cow, he's right. It does have something to do with 11 and 101 and the beginning of something. And what does the water mean? Water is quite often emotions, but it can also be flow, but it could represent a leak. It could represent something leaking through. Could it be that something is leaking through the portals? I don't know. When I'm talking about, are we being babbled still? There's something that What the Flock hasn't covered that I've noticed. Every single generation that we have changes the meanings of words and quite often flips them over. Quite often, the meanings of our words change to such an extent that one generation has trouble talking to the next generation. And it adds to the generation gap. My question is, could this be not an organic change? Could this be another kind of babbling? Because in my parents' time, if you said something was dope, that was very bad. If you called somebody a dope, that was an insult. If you said it was dope, it was bad. It was junk. You don't want anything to do with it. Now they say dope, they mean it's a good thing. Wow, that was dope. And I remember even as a kid, gee, that's tough used to mean things are hard. When I was a kid, though, for a while we were saying, oh, that's tough. Like, that's cool, That's another thing. Cool. Oh, that's cool. That's hot. you know? But the words are changing. And so we already don't have good words for some things that are paranormal and metaphysical. We don't have good words. We really are not taught even how to speak about these things. We don't have good ways to communicate about these things. And I think it's important to realize this when we're talking. If somebody says 5D, does that mean fifth dimension? Does that mean 5 density? Or does that mean fifth octave? Does that mean, what does 5, what does it mean? It used to be we called it dimensions. And then, they said, oh, no, it can't be dimension because dimension means this, thus, and so. Okay, so then they called it 5 density or 3 density or 4 density. So we're trying to talk about it, and now that's being kind of messed with. We don't really have proper words to describe these things. Some of the words they still have them in Tibet, maybe in Hindu, they still have, there are still some words, but we don't have them here in English too much, okay? We really don't have a good way to talk about things. And I think sometimes the words are intentionally being scrambled and turned on their heads. Because remember, we're in the inverted matrix. So if we're in an inverted matrix, sure, things are going to be turned, and it looks like they're turned on their head on a pretty regular basis. So then we're not sure what we're talking about. I mean, we read it years later, and we're going, it could have a whole other meaning. Whoa. Allergies. It could have a whole other meaning by then. Where, we write something, it's a spell, it's spelling. What are we writing? We're speaking it, it's a vibration. If they shift the vowels, they shift the vibration. If things are pronounced one way as opposed to another, the vibration is shifted. How has this influenced our society? Well, looking at what we got right now, I don't think in a very good way, to tell you the truth. So I think we kind of have to be careful, not only what we say, how we say it, also have to look at the other things that a word can mean. And this is all very tricky because some words have multiple meanings. And just the way you say them and the way they're spelled, just because they're spelled a little differently, doesn't necessarily, to our subconscious, negate the meanings, the different alternative meanings. Like, for instance, getting up in the morning, the AM. I know the person who says AM because they won't say morning, because it means you're sad about something, you're mourning. that you have to get up. And most people are mourning the fact that they have to get up early. They are mourning it. It's like it's sad. So you're psychologically hearing morning every AM, when you say morning. So that kind of thing. And there's so many things like that. We have to be careful what we say. And those of us who are aware of this have to be even more careful because we're manifestors. And remember, I keep telling you, you're creators. You create things. When you say things, when you think things, those are vibrations. You're making things. You're creating things all the time. So this is something that you can't just ignore. This is something that you shouldn't ignore anyway, that you've got power in your hands, and it's been our powers to create have been subverted and misused and abused and misdirected or redirected by people who don't really have our best interests at heart. So when I say, are we being babbled still? What I mean is our words and therefore our vibration all being rerouted, redirected, misdirected? And if so, how do we correct this? When I look at neurolinguistics, of course, is what I'm talking about here to a certain extent. Neurolinguistics is the study of how language affects us, how what we say, the spoken word, affects us. We know that music affects us. I mean, it's very obvious. If you play your favorite music, it has an extreme effect on you. But just even the spoken word has an effect. And we also know that if somebody's constantly told, I mean, the Emoto experiments that, you tell water or rice or whatever that it's ugly and it's horrible and you hate it, it's going to have an effect on it. And if you tell it you love it and it's beautiful, it's going to have another effect. So it is demonstrable that by changing our language and by changing our vibration, we actually change reality and the effects of our reality. Therefore, it really behooves those of us who know this to take into account what the heck we're saying about ourselves and others. And this means you, and this means me. Me too. I have to be careful what I'm saying. Now, more than ever, because, actually, one of my friends, she was really working on manifesting, and every time she made some kind of a sort of a smart ass comment, it would somehow come true. I'm there going, oh dear, I have to be careful. If that starts happening with me, I could be in trouble. But, I wonder about it because when we say something like, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say some of the things we say to ourselves. If you call yourself names and tell yourself how negative, some negative things, your subconscious is sitting there listening, going, okay, I guess that's what we are. And it doesn't realize what you mean, that you're making a joke. And think about our self-depreciating culture. Somebody actually made a skit about this, made a video about this, how women will self-depreciate a lot of times, and you're expected to. You're expected to be self-depreciating. You're expected to go in and say, well, I'm so, oh, you? You think you are? Well, I'm even, and it's something self-depreciating. And then there's in the skit, there's one girl who won't do it. So, they're waiting for her to come up with some self-depreciating remark, and she just won't do it. And they're all looking at her like, "What a weirdo," you know. And it's just because she doesn't want to take part in the self-abuse. And I'm like, that is what happens with us a lot of times. People want you to agree, like there are people that want me to agree with their end of the world scenario. I refuse. I choose none of the end of the world scenarios. There's a bunch of them. I came up with at least 13, 14 of them that we've been presented with. I choose none of the above, You can have your pick, but I choose none of the above. I want it to be nice. I want to live in a nice world. You're giving me a choice. I'm saying my choice is none of these things happens. At least not in my lifetime. And at least not for me. But if you want some kind of Armageddon to happen in your lifetime, you can absolutely create it. And we've seen this happen for people. There are some parts of the world where Armageddon is happening right now. So, seriously, it's a choice you make. And if you're able to make a choice, then I'd say be wise about it. Okay? So, anyway, as I said with my dream, this has something to do with portals. And the fact that Mr. T came up makes me think it's not just about me. There's something more to this. But what's your thoughts? Leave me some comments. When this comes back up, leave some comments if you like, or you can come in and discuss it on our group of MeWe. Please take a look at the What the Flock channel. He's really come up with some brilliant stuff. You won't believe. Oh, yes, there's one more other thing I wanted to tell you. This is another mind-blowing thing about the number 11. We think of heaven and hell, but what if you take the H off of both of those words? Now you know that the H is something that's kind of in contention. I mean, in some places they drop that H. It's a silent H. And actually, in some of our words, it's a silent H. Some places say it H, not H, but H, right? And yet, some places that H is dropped. So, what if you put them together the other way and you take off the H? When you say hell and heaven, when you say hell, heaven, when you take off the H, it's L-Evan. 11, 11 again. Here we go. More 11. And this is why on the What the Flock channel, he's saying it looks like Janus has been kind of hidden from us. Janus maybe have his fingers in way more than we were ever told. We were always told that he was kind of a lesser god of doorways. And now it kind of looks like maybe not. Maybe he was up to quite a bit more than that. Okay. So, and that's like probably a whole nother kind of discussion. I'm sitting here as a matter of fact, the more that he goes on about this, and the more that I think of it, I think of the 1111 Gateway that somebody named Solera came up with a whole book series about the 1111 Gateway, which was supposed to be us starting our movement, our ascension process. And that was way back, was it the 90s? And, or was it even the 80s? I can't even remember. So there's a lot. 11 is also has something to do with Isis. And it's interesting because Aset, Isis, Ice is one of the names for Jesus. Now, this is a really weird thing. One of the names for Aset is Isis, right? Then we turn around and make that a bad word by making it a terrorist organization where everybody else was calling that organization Daesh. So that kind of made, when you were looking up the goddess, you were finding the terrorist group. Tell me that that wasn't orchestrated. Tell me that wasn't intentional. Everybody else was calling them Daesh. Why weren't we? But when you look in the runes, a straight line, like a 1, is Is. So 2 straight lines would be Is, Is. Now the weird other thing is, Jesus, there was no J. Isis would be with an I. Isis, or Yeshua, or Yeshua, or Isis. So we may even not be completely, because Isis, or Jesus, was thought quite often thought probably to be Yeshua, who was actually a historical figure who did miracles, and the Hebrew have records of that one. But so the name would have been more like Isis, which sounds a whole lot like Is. So now we've got an Egyptian goddess and the son of God, and both of them are Isis. One's Isus, and one's Is. And I'm like, okay, this is getting freaking weird. What's going on here? And supposedly, a lot of our dates, what things are dated, they'll have an I or J in front of them. That's the year of our Lord. So if it looks like 1,000 blah blah blah, it's actually just blah blah blah. It's like 1,842 would be just in the year of our Lord 842, which means we're off by 1,000 years. So we don't know where the heck we are. We don't know when the heck we are. We don't know what we're talking about. Our meanings for words are getting inverted every generation. I mean, when I say walk in, that's changed meanings now. It was originally coined by Ruth Montgomery to talk about a soul contract, a very specific kind of event. Now people just use it for any spirit that walks in and basically possesses, which is not the correct usage, but people do what they will. They latch onto these things, and I think these things are changed on purpose. I think these things are actually purposefully changed so we can't communicate effectively. I think the 2 Sumerian gods were, their names were just kind of screwed around with and so on, because then we can't communicate effectively about that either. Stuff in the Bible was changed, so we can't communicate effectively about that either. It just goes on and on. Why is an ark a ship, after all? But also an archangel, but also an arch. Something going on here. And why is Thoth in the Emerald Tablets? Why is he warning about angles? By the way, I think the Emerald Tablets are the version that everybody has. I think it's been compromised, just like every other book, everything else. I think the information has been compromised. And probably, this is just, all our information's been compromised. We have to dig so far just to get any kind of truth at all. It's amazing. Some of it's stored in plain sight. The bit about hell heaven. Hell heaven. Is 11 the magic number of the universe? Well, certainly means something to the Masonics, and all of the master numbers, like the master number 22, the master number 33, are multiples of 11. Hey, Mary Wins, what's up? So now I'm sitting there and I'm sitting around thinking, okay, so we've had all of these things changed. We're not sure what we're saying. We're not sure what time period we're in. We're not sure anything about our own history. We know that giants existed because we find their bones. That gets taken away and cleansed. We're not allowed to know much of anything. And I still agree with Mark Twain, who famously said, I believe it was something like 90% of history is made up and the rest is lies. Why would you do that? Well, to control people, control how they think. And I even wonder, were the Sumerian tablets and that, were they compromised? Were we really supposed to be slaves? I don't think so. Maybe that was a story told to us to subconsciously get us into the thought that we're supposed to be slaves and servants to somebody. Who are we serving? And I mean, there's so many things, so many questions like that. Like, for instance, in a lot of churches, they still say hallelujah. Allah, Lu, and Yah are three different gods. Yeah. One was a local god. Allah, you already know who that is, and Lu and Yah. Yeah, they were three different gods, and so they were paying homage to three different gods, and people in church don't even know that. Okay, they don't even know what they're saying. They would have a cow. Some people would have a cow if they knew that they were talking about three, what to some people are pagan gods, because some people don't acknowledge Allah. But even if you do, there's two other gods in there. And I know that the Muslims don't want to acknowledge any other gods. So it's like, who is this? You know, at one time, apparently, they were all acknowledged at once in the same kind of a church or ceremony or something. But it just goes to show you how things have changed. What's going on here? Ah, amen. Yeah, amen. Amen. Ra. Yeah. Ra, ra, ra. Amen, amen. Ra. Isis, Isis, ra, ra, ra. Amen, amen. Amen. Yeah. hmm Rah, rah, rah. Really? Isis Boomba. What? I mean, you could go on and on. It's too crazy, right? There's so much craziness. Yeah. And so, my whole question is, what does that leave us with? What does that leave us with? To know. Do we know anything? Well, we're finding out. We're working on finding out. There are people who are studying it. And as per my dream, I guess I'm supposed to look into Janus. I guess that's something I'm supposed to be looking into and studying right now to find out what happened there. And what does it have to do with the portal system, which I am a part of, apparently. Hey, Project. How you doing, Sky Falls? Have you guys been as tired as everybody else? Everybody seems to be like half asleep today. We had a we had an event today, a chili cook-off, and everybody was just half asleep, and the event ended before it even, I mean, it didn't even take the full 2 hours it was supposed to take, and people were already taken off. It was like everybody was just so worn out today. What the heck? I know we got sun activity, and I know we're on the when Mercury finally stations direct. That may have something to do with it, but geez Louise. Even me, I had to take a nap before I came in just to be able to come in and do this tonight. So, anyway, so I'm looking at the realm of 11 now, and it looks like my dream is telling me I have to look at or study or look into this bit about Janus. It really never occurred to me to be an important thing, and yet it seems like it's something I'm involved with because I'm working with portals all the time now. I'm constantly crossing over. I'm doing a lot of crossing overs, opening and closing portals. That's mostly what I do now when I'm helping people, when I'm getting rid of attachments, when I'm crossing people over. It just on and on. I'm opening and closing portals. And it never occurred to me that this had anything to do with Janus. But then 11, I keep seeing multiples of 11. 11, 11, 111, 101. The repeating numbers. You took a nap too. Mary's tired too. Everybody's tired. Yeah, the Pams had to take off early. Took off. They both took off early. It looks like the Pams took off early. Everybody's taking off. Marilena is coming in. Hello, Marilena. Maybe Marilena's awake. Apollo 11. That's right. Apollo 11. That's right. Interesting. What else is going on with 11 that we're not aware of? Apparently, it's a very important number. And 101, and 1111, and 111. But if you think about it, oh gee, I forgot to make my little blurb here. Remember, this is just tips, tricks, and hacks for that massively multiplayer, um, total immersion, VR learning game called Life on Earth. It has nothing to do with real life, which takes place outside the matrix. My disclaimer. Well, what does this have to do with this realm? And if this is, and I'm pretty convinced that it is, a matrix, a simulation, then the numbers would be very important, wouldn't they? And this may be a major key to the code. So I think we're being presented with a major part of how to recode the inverted matrix. Because, as like I said, we have inversions. We have our language inverted all the time, just about every generation. I don't think it's by accident. I don't think, they'll say, oh, it's a living language, things change, the meanings of words. I don't think so. I think sometimes that it's on purpose, that this is started on purpose by somebody and then perpetuated on purpose to confuse our language so that the generations can't communicate between themselves effectively. I really think so. I don't think this is an accident at all. I don't think it's just teenage rebellion or anything. I think it is a plan. So we got to look at this. This is one of the things we really ought to look at if we're ever going to understand what's really going on here. Nothing is as it appears, right? So Skyfall sees 222 and 444. Janus Apollo Alexander. Yeah, I've been seeing 444 a lot. Yeah, nothing is as it appears. Oh, what we've been discussing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't surprise me. Hey, David Castle, how you doing? Greetings and favor to you. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to come in and talk about this subject, please let me know. I'll drop the link. Because I certainly don't mind a little bit of help with this. Matter of fact, let me just drop it anyway. Come on. There. So anyway, there's the link if anybody wants to come in and help me talk about this. So what we have been discussing, interesting. We won't go into that. Well, you weren't around for my earlier explaining what I've been discussing and what I dreamed about, but it involved Mr. T, and it involved portals. So I guess you'll have to replay that because I don't want to go back into it. And what these multiples of 11 mean, and Janus. What's the importance of Janus? Janus is looking to be, has just gone from, in my mind, has just gone from a minor deity of comings and goings, of doorway deity, a minor deity, to maybe one of the most misunderstood and important deities of the old times. You know what I'm saying? Somebody we really need to understand what's actually going on in this realm. So I will be looking into Janus and exactly what that means. Now, the other part that I don't understand is why I got fire, tender, and defender. If anybody can tell me what that means, because that's not what Janus is known for. Fire, tender, and defender. That's a complete mystery. Or maybe just the fact that I thought it was about something else. But that doesn't seem quite right either. There's more to this story, and I don't know what more there is. So I'm asking you, got any ideas? What the heck is this about? It seems important. It seems like something I need to know. I'm getting a message of some kind. Maybe something that we all could use. But I haven't quite come to what it is yet exactly. Yeah, we've been missing you, David Castle. So here we go. I'm on another path of discovery, I guess. And like I said, other people have already kind of cleared the way and done a lot of the research. So it's not going to be impossible to find this out. And what's my connection? Uh, Obviously, if I'm opening and closing portals, there's a connection. And then I remember somebody telling me a long time ago, and this never even occurred to me, told me that my real twin is on the other side and is involved in the portal system. I'm involved in the portal system. Obviously. Is that why I have a portal anytime I need it? Is that why I can call the portals anytime I need them? I can call not just a portal, I can have portals open all over the world at once. I've done it to mass crossover souls. Is that why I can do that? So easy. Why I just say, okay, portals, we're going to have them in every major place that has a concentration of souls. And we're going to open them and let all of the souls that want to cross to take some of the pressure off these places, because of course souls that hang around kind of sicken a place. It's not good energy to have around. Their time is done. They need to move on. I mean, after they go ahead and cross, and they can come back and help the living then, but if they hang around after their time, they actually cause problems. It sickens the land. It makes other people sick. When they try to use people for power packs, for batteries, it drains them. When they try to use the land for, it drains the land. It drains the energy. They have to cross over and go through the processing that happens, which is not a bad process. So there are people that help you. Then when they come back, they're okay. They're not draining. So Paul always tells them it's like you got to go over and get your power pack. And when you have your own power pack, then you can come back and visit, because otherwise you're draining the living, this realm. So that's the way that is. And maybe there's more to that mechanism than we understand too. I can't lie and say I totally understand that, but it kind of makes sense. Oh, no, I'm sorry, David. Well, I don't know how to adjust my browser to join you. Um, well, usually you just click the link and it brings you backstage, Marilena. You've done it before. I don't know. Yeah. Um, I know it hurts, David, but we know that he's in glory. We know that He's in a good place, right? He doesn't need crossed over, does he? If he's not earthbound, he's probably very happy. Yet, it's those of us who are left here that have to bear the brunt of it's hard on us to have somebody missing. So, my condolences, and yet, he's with you, right? Married for 60 years, your mom and him were. Wow. I can only imagine. So she's without him for the first time in 60 years. Oh, that's commitment. Yeah, I know that feeling too. We all know that feeling. We've all had people go out of our lives on, pass on that meant a whole lot to us. And the fact that they're still around is great, and that they're happy is great. But the fact that we can't really see them and interact with them in the same way is really rough. Yeah. Both my parents are gone. Oh, it says you need to adjust your browser. I have no idea what that means. Marilena, just the browser. No idea. I've never had anybody say that. They got that message. Yeah. Well, I told you, everybody, say your I love yous right now. There are going to be a lot of people leaving. That's just a fact. It's not a bad thing, not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's just a thing that's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be leaving us. That's just what's going to happen. Not necessarily because they want to leave us, but because they have other things to do, or because their work on this side is done. So, and now they have other stuff on the other side that they need to get to. I honestly feel that there will be a day when we will see them again, just like we're seeing everybody else. That we'll all be able to see our honored dead, our beloved dead ones, our beloved passed on ones again, even while we're still alive. I think that will be possible for all of us one day. And maybe that will help us heal up from generations and generations and generations of trauma. So I'd ask you guys what you thought of what I just talked about for an hour, but you weren't here, so now you don't know what I was talking about. You came in late, and now I guess I can't. But what I'm talking about basically is the realm of 11, and here it turns out that if you take the H off of hell and heaven, it comes out hell Evan, which is the number of Janus. Janus is important, more important than we have been led to believe. And for those of you who didn't hear, I've got a video about this over in our MeWe chat, and not in the chat, but on the wall, on our wall, on our group wall. So You can look at this for yourself and be your own judge. What does it mean? We're always asking that. What does it mean? What's the meaning of all this? You know, it's like we have to dig everything out, literally, sometimes. Was literally. It's like we have to excavate. We have to do an archaeological dig on everything, don't we? Find out anything. Because we've been told utter rubbish our whole lives. Once again, rubbish our whole lives. We have been given nothing but inverted baloney. And it's amazing that it takes us this long. Sometimes I feel like, duh, how is it that I couldn't figure this out? Well, I think a lot of it is brainwashing. I mean, I know that I knew a lot more as a kid. When I was 5, I knew a lot of things, but I was talked out of it. I mean, a lot of this was stuff that came to me when I was 5 years old, but they talked me out of it. They talked me out of it through threats. I mean, you start talking this at my Sunday school, and they would decide that you needed to talk to Jesus about it. You needed to be saved. But obviously you were under some kind of influence and you needed to be saved, and you'd get born again. They would put you through that process. Apparently I needed to be born again and again and again, because I kept coming up with these things, and they're like, yeah, I kept coming up with stuff like that. And pretty soon you just quit talking about it because you know it's only going to bring you trouble. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I can say. The lesson ends as soon as you get it. As soon as you get what the meaning of the lesson was, it goes, it's gone. So if something keeps happening in your life, you haven't learned that yet. You haven't learned how to deal with that yet. You haven't learned the lesson of that yet. Because as soon as you do, it's gone. So if you can figure out what the lesson is, then it will go away. One of my lessons is I had to really be certain about it, that I am a divine creator. I have that spark of God just like Ed, and so does everybody else. And the more I affirm that I have that, the better my life gets, and the more power I actually find I have over things. And the more I choose to choose. And this is important. We sit around letting life happen to us sometimes. Well, okay. But what if we can choose? What if we choose to choose? Just like I choose that none of the end of the world scenarios happen. Not for me, anyway. You can go have an end of the world scenario. If I choose that, I'm not going to have that. If I choose that there will be no end of the world scenario, I'm not going to go through one. I think that's worth something. I think that's worth a lot, actually. Okay, I don't either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Marilyn. I don't know how to correct that. I don't know what it means. Maybe one day we'll, because I want to have you on the show again, maybe one day we'll have to go through and figure out exactly what that means. I'll write in and see if I can find any information on what that means, but it may be something on your end, not my end. Figure your browser. You got in before. That's what I don't understand. Do you have a new phone or are you using a different device? Because you were on here. We interviewed you once. That's really weird. Well, whatever's happened in your life, like we've mitigated the weather. The weather has been warmer here than usual because I feel I can do that. Now, if I feel like a storm needs to happen, sometimes I get a message that we need to let this happen. We need to let this storm happen. We need to let the ice and the snow, and it's freezing something. Something needs to be frozen sometimes. But I've actually flattened tsunamis. And I mean, I did it with the help of one of my friends. I'm sure there were other people intending for the tsunami to flatten too. But we actually had a tsunami warning come up for a place that one of our friends was. And we decided we didn't want that to happen. And the next thing that happens is my friend who's calling me up, oh my gosh, there's going to be a tsunami. And I look into it, I check it. I said, there's not going to be a tsunami. And she goes, yes, there is. I checked it. There's going to be I said, they've called it off. She goes, what do you mean they've called it off? I said, they've called off the tsunami warning. She goes, how? I said, well, you didn't want it, and I didn't want it. That's two of us. We agreed that we didn't want it, right? Because our friend was in danger, right? She's like, and she checks. She goes and checks, and it's like, oh my God, you're right. It's been called off. It's been canceled. I said, yeah, we got a tsunami canceled. She goes, are we really that powerful? I said, apparently we are. What if we are? We got a tsunami canceled. We've done it more than once. Got weather patterns canceled. We've also got weather patterns started. Ice and rain on a regular basis. Oh, the door leaking. That's one of my other things that I do pretty regularly. See, my dream was all about, okay, I'll tell my dream really quickly again. Mr. T was my dad. He lived in an apartment down the hall. Like, that's real. But, that's got to be a symbolic of something. And he comes out in the hallway. He sees me walking down the hall. I just come out of their apartment, and he looks and he looks up and he points at this rain or water or something leaking over the doorway. And he says, do you have anything to do with this? And I say, no, I'm busy studying Janus, the god of the first fire tender and defender. And he says, you sure you got nothing to do with this? And I said, no, not that I know of. And I just went, something like that. You know how this stuff is in dreams. But I did say specifically, no, I'm studying Janus, the first fire tender and defender. I don't know what that means. But I am beginning to figure out, yes, I am involved with the portal system because I look and there's water coming down in front of my door too, but on the outside, not on the inside. So this was happening on the outside, not on the inside of the doors. Yes, I am involved. On both counts. I'm involved with doors. I sure am. Am I involved with rain, water? I sure am. He was right. Are you involved? Are you sure you're not involved? Funny. Very funny. Very funny. Funny, funny. No, I'm studying something else. No, I'm involved. But what does it mean? Why? Maybe it's just to get me down this road of investigation, to take another look at this Janus, who he really is and what he really meant. And quite often he's shown with two faces or sometimes three. Um, um, Sometimes two male faces, sometimes a male face and a female face, but usually two faces. What has that got to do with me? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've sent the water to drought states over and over again. Oh, um, the sky is covered in plasma clouds and a weird fog in South Africa. Oh, Marilena, did you see? You saw the video I sent you about iridium in South Africa. It's the only place that iridium exists on Earth is in South Africa. Isn't that interesting? No wonder so much is going on with South Africa. Wow. Yeah, I've sent water to drought areas on request. I sometimes wonder about all the rain that they're getting now in California because people have been trying to get rain there for ages and it's been blocked. I'm getting that it's been blocked for a long time. Now it's catching up. So all the rain that they were supposed to have gotten, we had to unblock when I was sending rain to Texas, we had to unblock Texas, an area in Texas. Somebody had blocked the rain because it was in the vicinity of an airport, and they didn't want rain around the airport. Well, they didn't want it to rain in the airport. Well, you know what? It was affecting the surrounding areas and giving them a drought. Somebody was actively doing that with the weather. Somebody was playing with the weather there. And they didn't give a darn that everybody was suffering through a drought just so that they could keep their airplanes dry, keep their runways dry. Maybe they didn't even think of it that way. Maybe they didn't even consider it. But when she moved it aside, she bumped it. We bumped that out of the way so that they could have their rain that kept missing them. Once we bumped that out of the way, it rained like a mofo, let me tell you. And maybe that's what's happened in California. Maybe somebody finally bumped the weather control out of the way, and now they're getting everything that they should have gotten for years. Wouldn't that be something? Boy. So I don't know. Oh, hope y'all are okay. Hope y'all got boats. Hope y'all know how to row. I don't know what's going on today. I don't check often enough to find out, but I kept hearing, considering how woke broke it is over that away. I kept hearing, all you zombies, hide your faces. You remember that song? All you zombies. I forget who sang it, but the rain is gonna fall on you. If there was ever gonna be a place for a zombie apocalypse, that'd be one. That'd be a place. But yeah, just like it was playing in my head. I couldn't help it. Not, I wouldn't want to see anybody get hurt or anybody anything, but that's what went in my head. Was playing in my head when I heard that. It's like, all you living in high places, the rain is gonna fall on you. It sure is. Ugh. Well, well, as Samantha used to say, well. Every time Darren would say, Samantha, did you have anything to do with this? Well, you remember that in that show? Well, it's kind of like every time Ricky said, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. And so, yeah, and does this have anything to do with my dream? Yeah, Mr. T is standing in the hallway. Not that Mr. T, Donnie. Standing in the hallway saying, who by the way, in the dream is my father. My father is Donnie. Anyway, in the dream, yeah. And so he's saying, do you have anything to do with this? Are you sure you don't have anything? I'm like, oh, no, not me. No, I have nothing. No, I just have everything to do with it somehow. Yeah, I got to study this more. Somehow I have a lot to do with it, and I don't know exactly how that happened. I can't even tell you exactly why or how this happened exactly. Is this what I'm here for? Maybe. Is it? It's one of the things I'm here for. Two of the things is weather manipulation and portals being, it looks like the main transportation system that we have in my time, in my realm, in the real world, wherever that is, whatever that is. And we already have discussed that is probably this library place, this living library, this academy, perhaps what they call the halls of Amenti. That may be that place. Um, Perhaps there, I have a lot to do with it. I mean, that's maybe how that happened. I don't know. But, here I'm living a life in the sim with the same forgetfulness as everybody else, trying to regain all my memories. I'm trying to piece together who the heck I am. And every time I think I know, the ends move again. Every time I think I'm about to click, go click. Now the ends move again. You're not even that yet. No, you have still not there yet. And I would venture to say a lot of you are that way too. A lot of you. I have a question. I have always believed that which thing there. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's our main method of travel. I think portals are how we travel there. I think that's the main way we do it. And we have a simulation of that here. But along with the rest of the inverted matrix, it's been screwed up. It's been screwed with. I think that eventually it'll be as easy to move here as we move there. And yeah, the reality doesn't appear what it seems. Absolutely doesn't. Absolutely, it is not. It is, as we are told, very illusionary. And my guides keep seeing us, saying they see us as patterns of light, that we're look to them like tapestries of light. And then I find that there are other people who hear that too all the time. We look to be tapestries of light. We're just energy. Once again, there isn't any real physical reality. We're just patterns of energy. Everything is. Yes, I do too, Marilyn. I have the strong feeling we'll be able to do that soon. When the dust clears a little bit and the new technologies are moved out. Remember, I said that way back. I said that a long time ago. I said, I think we will be getting some new ways of transportation, some new methods of transportation. And I think it's been worked on for a long time, as a matter of fact. I think we've been working on that for a long time. And I think we will be able to actually go through portals. And that's how we end a lot of our problems. Oh, Linda's back. Hi, Linda. So basically, I think we're going to have a lot of new technologies come about in our lifetimes in this body still. That's what I'm told. It is going to be in, I'm still going to be in this body, which means I haven't died by the time this happens. And that a lot of new healing things will be coming out too. A lot of new things to fix every single thing that's gone wrong here. The ecology, our bodies, our society, everything, transportation, economy, everything. There'll be ways to fix everything. There'll be ways to repair everything. Everything that was inverted will be set right. That's what I'm told. We will be setting everything right again. So, this reset is going to be different. It's going to be the inverted matrix will now be set right. Hi, Linda. Welcome back. Welcome back. I was thinking I was losing everybody there for a while. 3 different people. You guys weren't here when 3 people left at about the same time. I'm like, okay, I'm talking to myself for a little while until some more people come in. What the heck? That was weird. Everybody was leaving at the same time. Was there another show on or something that you had to go to, or was everybody? I just figured the way it's been going, maybe everybody felt like they were about to conk out. I know that that's been happening to me. Like, I'll be talking to somebody, I'll be like, oh no, I'm getting called away. Yeah, it's been something. Oh, look, my hair is getting fuller. That's nice. My hair isn't as sheer and transparent. Sheer is not a good look for hair. Oh, you couldn't sleep. We were talking about you. No, you weren't. We weren't talking about you. Well, Linda, we really could use your brilliant mind. So, anyway, that was the upshot of what I wanted to talk about, is what you guys thought about all this. And actually, just telling it to you helped a lot. Helped me to figure out some things. Dang, yeah, I'm involved with all this, But why is it Donald? So why is Donald playing the part of my father? Why is he in the dream? There must be some reason he's in the dream. I haven't dreamed of him once that I can remember. Why is he all of a sudden in my dream? Asking me questions. There we go. Mary Wynn's fell asleep too. See what I mean? Isn't that weird? Everybody's fallen asleep. Something's hitting us all. The guy'd say, you know what? I've been told that too. B vitamins. We all need our B vitamins. It is not a time. If you're thinking about becoming vegan, it's not the time to do that. We're all going to need our B vitamins. Load up on them. And flaxseed oil. And Marilyn, I understand you. You can't. You can't have meat. It won't work for you. But yes. Tom McDonald? MacDonald, M-A-C, Donald. What about Tom McDonald? Yeah, you mean 45. I'm wondering about that, Linda. I'm asking you guys what you think. Was that 45 getting in touch? Because I hear he does that. Yes. Could be. As my dad? That's what really freaked me out when I woke up. It's like, as my dad? You know, oh. Yeah. Asking me questions about the portal system or about why it's raining in front of the doors. Why is it raining? Do you know? You sure you didn't have anything to do with this? It's really funny if you think about it, isn't it? And I'm standing there like, I didn't have anything. Of course, I had something to do with it. Of course, I did. Not realizing it. Ah! Yeah. 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 He is. He's well, a president is a father figure for the country. You know, they very much are a father figure. Right now, we've got more of a grandpa instead of a father. We got a doddering old grandpa, but grandpa sniffer, ugh, creepy. But it's part of the movie. Is Mary taken off? If you're taken off, Mary, and you have to sleep, I do understand. Uh, gosh, everybody's leaving to try. You're lucky, like I said. I had to take a nap before I came in here, or I wouldn't be able to be in here doing this. Everybody's conking out tonight. It's weird. It's so weird. We have a double. Yeah. You're still here. Oh, okay, good. You're awake again. See, I do that at SOR all the time. I'll conk out during SOR and then I'll wake up and I was like, oh man, I fell asleep and missed half the show. I do that at SOR all the time. I go in or I wake up and I think, oh, SOR is on. I'll go and see everybody. Most of the time, I have to be honest. I've already heard about the subject matter. for years and years. I've studied the subject matter of whoever the guest is. It's all very nice and everything to have a guest, but most of the time it's information I already know. And because I really try to keep up with stuff, but I go in mostly to say hi to my family, that family there. So it's really more to say hi to everybody than it is even for the subject matter. Although that's nice too. It's almost like a second thought. Oh, yeah, and they have a nice guest. Oh, that's lovely. And if I happen to learn something, that's lovely. So, but I often fall asleep, especially when they're talking about UFOs. Usually ends up an argument about Elizondo and so on and so on. And are they ever going to I'm just, it's the same old thing. To me, it's like the whole space thing. It's true. Confirmation. We might get confirmation someday when there's no more percentage in lying to us, but probably not until then. Not until everybody already knows anyway. Might as well just disclose to each other and not look for that parental approval. Quote unquote, parental approval. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. It is about time then for me to get off too, because I try to keep it to 2 hours. And I will be heading that way after this. Yeah. Yeah. You too, Marilyn. I hope your day goes wonderful. Like I said, I'll be taking off too pretty soon here. I just want to make sure I say hi to everybody before I take off. Haven't seen David in a while. Yeah. All of them are doubles. I did a reading on that. Every high profile public figure right now is a double. None of them are real. As a matter of fact, it looked like they're not even actors. Some of them are not even, or that is, not even physically double. Some of them are CGI. They're just somebody playing them and they're CGI. What you're seeing is CGI. They're not even real. Apparently they've got holograms down good enough that they can walk up and down the aisles and look completely real and then just vanish. Turn it off and they're gone. So this is a masquerade. This is just a masquerade. Oh yeah, I know, David. My friend Tanya has been deeply hacked. Everything, every single file he deleted. He's a stalker. And he deleted every picture, every file, every important thing off of all her devices, got control of every single device. And every new device that she got, he hacked into. And she's got the FBI on it right now. The FBI is looking into it right now. So, oh. Oh, I was hacked before. It's not fun. Certainly not fun. Oh no. Really screw you up, don't they? Coming back from it can be difficult. And Tanya doesn't even have anybody she can talk to, hardly. Because he has alienated everybody posing as her. He'll pose as her and alienate people. He's a jerk. I'm one of the few people who will talk to her now. This has been going on for 3.5 years. And she's lost her children, custody of her children. It's horrible. She's she's in a very bad way right now. I'm trying to help her. 11 cell phones in 3.5 months. Let's see, Tanya. It was something like 11 cell phones, 12 tablets, 3 computers, and 5 laptops. All of them hacked. So she's sitting on a whole pile of tech she can't use. As far as I'm concerned, they used to shoot horse thieves. I think identity thieves need their butts kicked really soundly. I think they need their butts kicked. Yep. Yeah. Tanya could commiserate with you, David. Plus, she has a psycho ex who's got her kids. How many times have I heard that one? My psycho ex has control of the kids, has custody of the kids. And they're obviously psychotic and nobody's still doing anything about it. Yikes. I had, at the time that I was getting hacked, all I had was my computers. I had a computer and a couple of tablets. That's all I had. I didn't even have a phone for a while. And when I did have a phone, it was a really old one, so I guess they couldn't hack into it. It was probably the wrong kind of thing for them to be able to hack into because it was just a really old one. But does Tanya know Al? No, his name is something else. Oh, she knows about that. She's done all that. She's done everything everybody's told her to do. For 3.5 years, this has been going on. She's tried everything. But see, he got a hold of her fingerprint. He got a hold of her fingerprint. That's how, one of the ways he got into everything. Anything that requires a fingerprint, he's got a fingerprint. It's one of the ways he did it. She didn't realize it. Before she knew it, he was hacked into everything with her fingerprints and replacing her completely. Erasing and replacing her. Horrible. Yeah. Remote access management. Well, I'll mention it to her next time she calls to remember, to remind her to try that. But she was trying to tell me all the things she'd done, and of course I didn't understand half of it. She said, and then I was told to do this, and I was told to do that, and I was told to do that, and she kept calling up, AT&T and et cetera, and right. As a matter of fact, he managed to turn on group chat and get to my contacts. Some somehow he was getting into my contacts through her. He was sending shit out to my contacts. And only a few of them, though. He didn't get to very many. I turned off group chat and it all disappeared. So, but somehow he keeps turning it on. And I keep turning it off. I've turned it off 3 times already. Right. Right. At first they were blaming Tanya. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, would a person really, yeah, people have done crazy things, but would you really want to be doing that to yourself? Would you really be wanting that? I mean, after your first hack or something, you're careful after that. First time you really hacked bad, you're careful. Yeah, I got mine got, they even blew up my computer. They blew it up. I guess they virused it where the fan stopped, made the fan stop, and it melted it. It melted the motherboard. Oh, that was pretty crazy. Those were crazy times. But I was in the public eye a lot more then, and I'm not now. Most of those crazy people have forgotten who I am, I guess. So I had to get out of the public eye because it seemed like I was getting attacked constantly for a while. So I had to get it out from under it. And now that, you know, I haven't let too many people know about this channel. I'm just as glad it isn't huge yet. But it'd be a little bit harder to screw me over this time, I think. Okay. So anyway, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. You missed some stuff. Please rerun. It was kind of interesting what I'm talking about. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any thoughts, please put them in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me get found. And please tell your friends that you think would be interested. Okay. Fortunately, I'm not monetized and don't really plan on being monetized anytime soon. It would be nice, but um, it's okay. I'm doing my job. As far as I'm concerned, I'm doing my job. And so as long as I'm doing my job, I'm going to be okay. So, however, I don't feel we've found everybody yet that needs to be found, that they haven't all found us yet. I'm still looking for a few people to show up. That's the way it feels anyway. And after we find everybody, maybe I get to go do something a little different. Because there's a couple other ideas I have, but I don't want to do them. I don't really have time to do them. I have to do this one. This one's kind of important. So, no matter how I feel about it, I've made a commitment to doing this. So I'm going to be doing these as often as I can on the days that I have said. So that is Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. And much love to you. Thank you so much for coming to the program, for coming to my channel. and for being my online family. I love you guys. Remember, the truth is where you find it. Usually, it's right in front of our eyes. And so I'm going to get ready to say goodnight here. And yeah, well, thank you. It means a lot. Yep, tell people you love them. It's important. Remember that you're divine. And remember, you may be a lot more important than you think you are. You may not be who you think you are. Apparently, I'm not. Apparently, more is going on with me than I know about. I thought I knew who I was, but apparently I'm more than that, which I don't know. Guess I'll find out. It's a little scary, but yeah, I guess I'll find out. Not really scary, just it's just so weird when you're sitting there and you think you know who you are, and then it's like, well, not exactly. There's more. Oh, there's more? Okay. Ah, yes, Rufus has limited English. David. Yeah, we missed you too, honey. Yeah, I miss y'all when you're not around. When I don't see you. So I'll be on. Hopefully, you're finding some truth on this show. Truth is where you find it. Hope you find some on this show. And I'm not on Fridays, David. I'm here Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. And if I'm on Friday, it's just an emergency meeting or something has happened. But yeah, I'll be somewhere Friday probably. Not doing the show though. I can't guarantee Fridays. Yeah, I did talk about you while you were gone. Your ears must have been burning. Yeah, but so see you again, hopefully Sunday, Saturday, and see you in other chats. And with that, I'll be saying goodnight and taking off for Dave's place. Go harass Dave and the gang over there. And try to breathe because my sinuses are acting up again. And sure enough, air's coming through the vents again, blowing through the vents. They didn't clean those filters out good enough, probably. Sunday, hopefully I'll see you, David. Take care. Hopefully I'll see y'all. Okay. And if you need anything, remember oceandiana@gmail.com. If you need my number and you're one of the core group that's been here for years, you can have my phone number. I will send you my phone number in an email and you can call me. So you don't have to be alone in all this. If you got some kind of a need, you let me know. Love you.